Good morning, everyone. I'd like to ask you a simple question. When was the last time you truly understood something? Not memorized it, not passed the test on it, but truly understood it. My name is Nkem Ejikeme. I am an educator, and that means that I research and experience everything teaching and learning. One of my most recent investigations led me to an uncomfortable truth, which is students have not been learning. Let me paint a picture for you of how students like you learn. You go to school, you sit in classes, your teachers explain, you take notes, you complete tasks, you go home. You write it all out a night before the exam. You walk in. You write it all down. You walk out. Guess what? 2 weeks later, it's all gone. Here is what you've been doing. You've been learning to know. Learning to simply pass a test. You've been learning to impress yourself, your teachers, your friends, your parents. You have truly not been learning, because true learning goes beyond having chunks of information just to serve a particular purpose. I used to think having good access to information in terms of volume and relevance was all there is to learning. But then, information is everywhere, yet students are seen to be learning less day by day. Then I realized that the problem is not access to information. No, the problem is knowing how to learn. What does it truly mean to learn? It's about creating an experience that stays with you, even after you come in contact with the content and concept. But I also realized something else. Students have their own understanding of learning. Several misconceptions that has actually shaping their mind when it comes to learning. The first misconception is that cramming equates learning. Here is how that will play out. A night before the exam, you color code your notes. You cram it all. Somehow, you go into the exam hall and you pass. That information will only stay with you for a short while because it is in your short-term memory. That's not learning. A second misconception is that students believe that copying without comprehension is actually learning. Here is how that will play out. You write every word your teacher has written on the board. No question asked, no comprehension, no understanding of content, you just write. What you have succeeded in doing is developing your writing skills. You are not learning. That's not learning. A third misconception is that all my answers must be correct during the learning process. The problem with that is you get a very high score on a task. 2 weeks later, a new topic is introduced. Somehow you always have to make reference to a previous topic to help you understand the new one. You're asked a question. You can't remember. What that high score has shown is that you were able to navigate the situation then, but there was no system in place to help you further navigate that same situation next time you encounter it. That's not learning. A fourth misconception is that your teachers are demigod. A question is asked. We often hear students say, that's the best I can do. I can't do more than this. So you let the teacher be the one solving the problems, answering the questions. And the only thing you get to ask is that the answer? Should I write it? What you have just shown is that you were part of copying the answer. You were not part of the process that gave birth to that answer. That's not learning. A fifth misconception is that students believe that learning means everything I know. But truly, you don't have to know everything, especially during the learning process. A learning process simply means you know some and you don't know some. But here is what usually happens. You're given a task. You get AI to complete the task for you. And that is because somehow you have come to believe that for me to show that I am truly learning, or for me to show that I am smart, all my answers always have to be correct. You have just succeeded in doing one thing, eliminating the beautiful moment of not knowing. You don't always have to know it all. If students have not been learning, how then do we flip the coin to ensure that learning is taking place? There are some perspective shifts you have to make as students. Number one, you need to study to discover and not hold. What does it mean to hold information? You're simply cramming. You cram it all. Like I said earlier, that information will only stay with you for a short while. Then it disappears. What you need to do is study to discover. When you study to discover, you're asking questions. It is all about the questions. When you study to discover, you are not rewriting the content of your notes, because that's what we see students do. You're not even summarizing the content of your notes. It's not about that. It's about being critical, asking critical questions. A second thing you need to learn to do is you need to learn to embrace the struggle. Don't skip it. Like I said, it's not about getting it right all the time. The real goal here is not to get it right all the time, especially during the learning process. No, the goal is for you to take what you already know to help inform what you don't know. The little problem here is that our students always like to appear as experts. I know it. The third misconception, or the third perspective shift, is you need to learn to ask the right questions. You can never get enough of asking questions. It's a generation where we need to ask questions. It's not about what you know, it's about what you can do with what you know. And that will stem from asking questions. A common question we're all used to is what? What is that, ma? What is that, sir? What is the answer? Should I write it? You need to shift from what to why and how. Have you ever asked, why is that the answer? How does this connect to what I already know? Those are the type of questions every student in this room should start asking. A fourth perspective shift, and an important one, is, can we please go from the space of grade, high score, to growth? What do we know about students? When the score or the grade is not what they expect, they toss the script, throw it in the bin. Now we're moving. We move from grade, high score. Let's move to the growth mindset, where rather than tossing your script, you evaluate it. Evaluation means you are judging, you're probing, you're asking questions. What are the things I got right? Now, what are the strategies that help me get them right? How do I create a system based on that strategy to ensure that I always get them right? Now, for those ones you did not get right, what are the things I did not do well? What different strategy could I adopt to ensure that I get them right next time? Not knowing how to learn up till now is not your fault, but it is now your responsibility. And that's because you know now. Tomorrow, the question is not going to be, what do you know? Information is everywhere. The question would be, how fast can you learn? Knowing how to learn. Thank you.